I'll just, for the completion, a little paragraph I'll read. We may sit in any comfortable posture and maintain the same posture. Comfortable posture we take surely, but then we go on changing it incessantly. There is no control over the body. There is no discipline. We change our posture. Try to remain in the same posture. It is very difficult. But when you are asking for margins, when you are asking for a goal where you will be totally balanced, to maintain balance is not a joke. You have to strive for it. Balance is a tough concept. Static balance, of course, we can have. We can sit somewhere. Even there we are prepared to, but our body is such, it refuses to be balanced even at the static level. We are not doing any gymnastics here. We are not doing any hatha yoga. We don't do such things. To sit like this itself consistently for 1 hour becomes a big tedious problem for us. That is the amount of indiscipline that has got into us. We will not be in a position to have meditation is always for seeking our oneness with nature. We are trying to feel one with nature. That is the laya, is it not? Oneness with God. This is what we are asking for. Our morning meditation should be for 1 hour for this reason. Otherwise, we will be disturbed. We will not be in a position to have our thought firm. In the beginning, it is only at the 55th minute that we will be in a position to have some idea of what we have got to meditate upon. And as we gradually progress, it starts even at the first second. Progress enables us to meditate for 1 hour. Though in the beginning, people are asked to sit for 1 hour, we should know that our meditation is less than a few minutes. Meditation usually will begin thinking about what we can do during the day. What are the other plans that we have got to do? What are our responsibilities? All these things come to us. The meditation is a must for 1 hour if we want to control our thoughts. Later on, we learn to sit for 1 hour and meditate. It becomes easy for us to meditate for longer hours. Once we get absorbed in his thought, time passes off. I do not ask you to do that, but then that's what happens. Meditation is one aspect of it, and the evening cleaning is another aspect. We have formed so many impressions in our heart. We have got various values in our mind. We have given certain people some positive marks and certain other people some negative marks. Several notions are carried by us and they are our own. It has nothing to do with others and the circumstances. The general question is, how is the day? It is beautiful. The day is always beautiful. It is warm. Either it is warm or hot or cold. It will be according to its nature. We are not the persons to decide. It is as it is. We have to adjust to it. It dictates circumstances. Nature doesn't accept our ways of doing things. It has got its own ways because it is the mother. Mother knows how to dictate and how to love. Both the things she knows better. We have unfortunately formed various impressions. All these thoughts keep haunting us. We have to clean ourselves. This cleaning is a must. Otherwise, our mind will never be clean. Up to this, we have read last time. Now we'll continue further. How to clean this mind? There is no external way by which we can do that. They said Shravana and Manana will be in a position to clear us of these things. That's what they said in tradition. To hear good things, try to be in good thoughts, try to be with good satsang, avoid bad associations, try to get good associations. By these methods, we will be in a position to control the mind, they say. We try, still the mind troubles us the most. The cause for this is our mind only. It is our mind which is the cause for the troubles of the mind. So it is the same mind that has to be applied to get rid of that. We got attached, therefore we should get ourselves detached. This is the process that is advised in the evening cleaning process. We have to detach ourselves with a firm will that the impurities are going away. Are we capable of doing this? Surely not, but we have to. We have to carry this load. We are not capable of doing this on our own. We have to understand that. That is where Pranahuti support also comes in the form of taking the concept of God itself as the divine light coming to us. We are linked to it. There are 2 or 3 types of methods. In every method, we try to bring the divine into the picture and then say we are linked to the divine. In the 3 different methods, we tell you as how we can get rid of impressions. We try to tell one of the 3 methods according to the temperament of the person. No one can practice all the 3. A person should practice only one, and that should be suitable to his temperament. We think that everything is going away in the form of vapor or smoke. When we give this concept, we are using the concept of fire. It is Agni Tattva that is being invoked. It is a God in Agni that is being invoked to get rid of these things. He burns it off. Whatever comes to him, he burns it off and throws off. This is one method of purification. There is another method in which we think that it is ocean of bliss in which we are seated, and then it cleanses us. Here it is the idea of, here it is the Jala Tattva, another purification element. The divinity in the water is being utilized by us for our cleansing. These are all the things that enable us to clean. What are all the things that we use? Because the system is scientific. What are the things that we use? One method is to burn off and get rid of it. Another method is to wash and clean ourselves. The third method is the method of light. The light is at the top of the head, and then we try to link it up to our system, and it cleanses us from various limbs of ours, 2 upper limbs and 2 lower limbs. Generally, we use the method of light when working on other persons. I have used it very effectively with Abhyasis who come to me. I personally practice only the concept of ocean of bliss. Generally, suggested method by the master is fire. These are all the 3 concepts that are there. All the 3 are absolutely scientific, but in every one of them, our effort is required. Since the master's power is invoked, do not think that master's Pranahuti will work. Don't get into that confusion. No Pranahuti during the cleansing process. We have to do by the exercise of our will. Get connected to that concept and that divinity. The divine light that comes out is what we use in the morning and in the evening. The divine light is right on top of our head and it flows through the body, cleansing us. It is the capacity of the individual mind that is to be accessed by the trainer to know what exactly is the method of cleaning that he has to adopt. If the people are adopting on their own, they are welcome to do. But the point is, it is better to discuss with the trainer and then arrive at the proper method of cleaning, which will be the most effective. There is no other system which talks about cleaning. One of the fundamentals of cleaning is we should know that a thing which is already pure can only be made pure. We should have the confidence that purity is our real nature, and the impurity that is there is an unnecessary coating on us that blurs our vision, that blurs our understanding. It must go. Then only we will be in a position to seek clearly. What is formed on the mirror must be wiped off before we can see in it. The spectacle glass must be clean to see clearly. Similarly, here these are all the avarana, these are all the mala, these are all the vikshepa that need to be cleansed. Mala is confusions about the goal, living at the lowest level. Vikshepa is, though we know the goal, we have various thoughts which we think are equally good, and the avarana is something that is there as attachments. When we are talking about the Ishanatraya, it is the avarana concept. Please note that it cannot be cleansed off at the mala level at all. More and more sittings are required for such people who feel attached to their own men. This attachment is a karmic attachment. We owe them something. That is why they are linked to us. Runanubandham rupena bandhu mitra sutya alaya. These are all the things that come to us because of runanubandha. We owe them. They will stay as long as we are indebted. The moment our debt is over, they will go. However much you think that your son should be with you, your daughter should be with you, or your house should be with you, it will find its way. They will go, they will come. That it is due to the karmic factor. One should understand that he cannot wish it away. All that we can do is to arrive at a balanced way of dealing with the things. We need not develop further samskaras. Whatever runa we had with us earlier, we try to clean it off. But then even after the marriage, we run after the daughter to the house where we have given them. We are supposed to forget them. They are dana, but we don't forget them. No danas are here. That is why we try to continue an attachment out of habit. What was the burden on you? You cleared off. But then the act of clinging all these days has developed its own samskara of attachment. And you continue to do it even after you are supposed to have ceased to have any connections with it. Have clarity. Nobody is permanent here. Everybody is transient. We are moving out. One day or other, we are going out. But when you go, would you like to carry the load? As Robert Babuji says, travel light, throw off the luggage as far as possible. Travel light is a good article to read. Please read revered Babuji's article. Even when there's an opportunity for us to travel light, we like to carry some more load. I think, Vivek, any questions on this? It's very clear cut.
No, nothing, sir. It is very clear.
It's simple, easy, just a commentary about the main points which Babuji has talked.
Yes.
It improves our clarity and improves our practice actually. Even when by God's grace we get liberated, we want bondage. We seem to love bondage so much that things which we ought to forget, we continue to remember. We continue to hunt after them. Funny are the ways of the mind. Clean yourselves and try to take as many sittings as possible to cleanse yourself. Don't try to avoid. Don't try to avoid the issue of trying to get rid of the burden. You must get less and less burden. That is a must if you want to progress in spirituality. Cleaning must be done. This is a unique system where we have got the assistance from Master also for this, in indirect way, not directly. Every act is ours. The concept of cleaning has never been discussed in any other system. Everybody said that samskaras are there and we should get rid of them. But how to get rid of them? What is the way? Nobody has said this. This is the only system where we talk about this aspect. Avarana is one that gives the colorings of the soul, as Jains put it. And as we know here in our system, when we see the stages of progress, we will go through the various colors of various stages. We start with some sort of an orange color. Then we move to red, then we move to white, then we move on to black or blue, then to the gray, and then to the violet. These are the colors. What are these colors? These are the avaranas. The mala that we have attracted and made it into a paste and rubbed onto our soul. Our soul got affected because of this. These colors that we see are the colors of various levels. This clarity only revered Babuji gave, whereas in Jainism, they simply said that there is a color. Colors of souls are there, but they could not say why it is so. Several people state several different colors, but they never could understand why it is so. Because this is mentioned in various spiritual literatures, but they didn't understand it. Babuji is a person who is clearly made us understand why these colors appear. Revered Babuji said, because of Viveka, we have got something. Because of Vairagya, we get something. Because of understanding ourselves, our nature and Sat Swarupa Jnana, we get some other color. Because of our devotion, we get some other color. Because of our surrender, we get some other color. When we are almost in Layavastha, we get a different color in the Pindadesh. All colors relate to the Pindadesh. No colors are available in Brahmanda, except in the first stage or second stage, no colors are present. Please note that these are the avaranas that are there. What are the avaranas that we have got? Avaranas related to Viveka, Sat Viveka, Vairagya or attachment. Raga Dveshas are there. They are also having their own colors. Then a person who is pure, he has got his own color, who knows his dependence. But this has to go. His awareness that he knows something is the difficulty here. Sat Swarupa Jnana itself is an avarana. The Jnana should go. That Jnana belongs to him. But we think that it is our knowledge. Similarly, devotion, we think that we are devoted and therefore it forms an avarana. Suppose we think that it is he who is devoted to himself, as revered Babuji says, then that avarana will not be there. That is why all the enjoyments that we say, all the experiences, we should always consider that they are experienced by the Master himself. It is his play. And if you think that it is we who are experiencing it, please note that we have got the avarana sticking onto us still. That is the reason why we see the color. When we see a color, we ought to know that it is a warning. That is why revered Babuji says, don't bother about these colors. The reason for that is, if we give importance to it, we will stick to it more. But for understanding, we say so many things. So it is a warning signal we see when we say that at this point, we feel like that. I think this is a very beautiful practical point which should be kept in our mind. People get exalted, they feel exalted, exhilarated, that they saw violet color or green color, and they feel very happy about it, because that indicates the not 4 condition or not 5 condition. They feel thrilled about it. But sir is giving you a warning, when Babuji says don't bother about colors, you have to become achromatic. And he says if that color appears, that is still an avarna, you're clinging to that condition. If you cling to that condition, that color will come again and again. This, I think, is a very beautiful practical point. Though we have read, we have allowed that knowledge to escape from our mind, because, as you know, our minds are all messed up. It is the nature of that particular not to be like that. Agreed. But then it is an avarna on you. One is philosophical discussion, another is a practical experience. Practically, we have to understand that we should move out of it. Philosophically, definitely we say that it is what it is. The system is explained that in this place, this is what it is. The Layavastha will give this, we say. All these avarnas must go. It is a laborious task. These have been earned by us in several lives in the past, the result of several deeds of ours. Everything is resultant of our own action, our own thought. Thought is an action. We should understand this concept also. Thought also itself is an action. So these are all the things that form the impressions. And those impressions have to be removed during the cleaning process. It is an active process, very important process. And the second most important thing that we have got to practice. First and the foremost thing is the morning meditation. And the second important thing is the evening cleaning. Now, having cleansed ourselves reasonably for the day, then at 9 p.m. in the night, we are asked to offer prayer for the betterment of all the people in this world. Our aspiration is to go out of this bondage of the body. Nama and Rupa are the two bondages that we have got. The primary goal is this. If we want to go beyond this, then we have got to have a consciousness of a superior being. If our consciousness is bound to the sharira or the body or the name, then we cannot say that we are going to the higher levels of consciousness or to a consciousness beyond this body. To enable us to go there, revered Babuji gives a method. In the 9 p.m. prayer, we pray that all the people in the world are our brothers and sisters, and that they are developing true love, faith, and devotion towards the Master. It is not a prayer for us. It is a prayer for all. In the beginning, a very routine and some sort of a ritual that we do. It is not a feeling that we have got in our heart. But since we are asked to do, we do it in the beginning. But later on, it becomes our second nature. All the time to pray only for others, and we cease to pray for ourselves. Because the others and we are one. They are extensions of our own self. The Atman has already moved to be the Brahman. Take the connotation given by revered Lalaji Maharaj. Our consciousness has been all the time confined to the consciousness of the Pinda, to this body, and therefore it is Atman. Brahman is the one which grows out of this. A thought which grows out of this body consciousness is the Brahman. So long as it is confined to this body, it is the Atman. It is the Jiva that can have the Atman. And note one more point. In tradition, it is stated that Atman is an indivisible self and it cannot be segregated. Revered Lalaji Maharaj and Revered Babuji Maharaj don't agree to this. They say that the Atman is a composite of Buddhi, Manas, Ahankara, and Chitta. This is a significant variation from the traditional systems of yoga. All these four things put together is Atman. And when all these four are related to us, to ourselves, it is Atman. When all these things are applied to the universe, it becomes Brahman. It grows far beyond. Our mental faculties, which are restricted to ourselves, is Atman. When our mental faculties expresses the concern for others, then it is Brahman. At plus man, Bru plus man. This is how revered Lalaji Maharaj has given the definitions, which is very relevant for us to understand. Because we have not got to We have got to move on from the Atman level to the Brahman level. If Atman were to be a solid object or something that is placed at this plane, and it is some sort of a physical thing, it cannot grow unless it bursts itself. It has to die. So when the Upanishad said Atman is Brahman, they were only telling that Atman is capable of becoming Brahman. The Mimamsa seems to have given a better definition than the Vedanta. Capable of, just as we are men, because we are capable of being men, not because we are men at present. We are animals at present. We are capable of becoming men. When we say we are human, means we are capable of becoming humans. However much animal I am, but still I am capable of being a human. That we are capable of falling to the lower level is what our ancients thought. But the misfortune is we are always that. Only now and then we seem to be going to the human level. So this particular thing can happen only because of that prayer, which is suggested to us. It speeds our progress. The Pranahuti aided meditation helps us because the master has willed such a prayer. He has suggested that to all of us. We are such wonderful disciples. We do not follow what he said. We are very consistent in not following. It seems to be the uncanny capacity of revered Lalaji Maharaj that he has got so many disciples who do not obey what he says. He is an exemplary character by himself because he is one person who is capable of getting all his disciples not capable of doing what he says. At least some must follow. This 9 p.m. prayer is such a casualty, but that is the only way to grow to the Brahman level. There is no other way by which you can grow. People may say Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu is not a new concept. Sukhino Bhavantu, he said. May all people become happy. That's what they said. Here we don't use the word may. We say all people are developing. It is a sankalpa that you are giving. It is not an ashirvada that we give. It is a new concept. Totally new concept where you are willing through our will. We want to offer this thought, namely that all people are developing. But unfortunately, either we are victim of our vital instincts or the much lower physiological instincts, or the gluttony seems to have taken us when we say that we have got to go for dinner. The 9 p.m. prayer is a must. When we go to bed, we say, offer your prayer. But then Babuji Maharaj says, before you do that also, pray on point A. It is an extension of what you do at 9 p.m. At 9 p.m., you are asked to pray for all generally. But before going to bed, we meditate for a few minutes on point A. The same thought is given at a particular location. The efficacy of Raj Yoga says that whatever suggestion we give at point A, it becomes true. And he uses that technique here. The reason he wants us to move to the higher plane, he wants us to live not just at the level of a manava, not satisfied with it. He wants us to live at the level of a manishi, go on to the higher level. That is the aspiration that we are asked to have. This matter is not for people who seek some favors. This is for people who can offer prayers for others. We should move on to that stage where you can confer on others this particular thought. We can offer, we should be capable of giving this. We can give only when you have. This is enabled by the 9 p.m. prayer. To do this again at the position of point A so that it becomes doubly strengthened and you move on to the higher plane. When you go to bed with prayer that I am incapable of controlling myself, the self has already grown. It is no more with ourself that we are praying. I am talking about ideal case. It is no more yourself. It is all this humanity. It is incapable of improving by itself. I am a part of that whole. That is the highest quality of prayer at which we will be ending our day, ideally. This, I would say, is the method of meditation that we are asked to practice. The smaller ways of explanations are already available in the books, various talks that we have talked about, but this is the ideal situation. Your day should terminate in a feeling of total helplessness of this humanity to better itself and seeking the divine help for the overall betterment, not just seeking your betterment. That is why the prayer becomes plural, as Dr. Vardachari puts it. He says, in the beginning, you start with I am yet but slaves of wishes, putting a bar to my advancement. Later on, it changes to we. We are yet but slaves of wishes. Here, the wishes is not yours. Even when he says singular, it becomes wishes only and not my wishes. I am yet a slave of wishes, not only my wishes. My wife's wishes are there, my son's wishes are there, my father's wishes are there, my friends' wishes are there about me. They've got various expectations about me. All those things are binding me. I must get out of it. I pray. I'm incapable of coming out of it. You better save me. That particular attitude of humility we have to develop. Only when we know the enormity of the subject, we will be in a position to develop the humility. Otherwise, we will think we are very confident to do anything. The prayer also, as far as I know, majority of the abhyasis do it ritually, repeating it once or twice. We should get into that thought and get lost. Once or twice is remembered very well, because 1 and 2 we know, buckle my shoe. These 2 we remember and then go to bed. No question of getting into that attitude of humility. No question of feeling the presence of the divinity. No question of feeling the necessity to grow beyond ourselves. No necessity to pray for others or you have some problem. That problem overtakes you during the prayer, and then that problem alone is remembered. Neither the God is remembered nor the solution is remembered. Only the problem is remembered. This is very unfortunate way of prayer. Prayer should be one where one should feel the lapses of every other person has his own lapses. If the nation has failed, it is we who have failed. If the world has failed, it is we who have failed. Such is the notion of Brahman. A person who lives at the higher consciousness feels so. 50 years back, it was normal for every person to feel for others. Some calamity has happened else where they used to feel. Today, we seem to be totally indifferent. The problem becomes real only when we suffer. When somebody else is suffering, it is not our problem. It is our misfortune that we have got isolated, insulated to such an extent that we stink within. Let us get liberated out of this. That we can do only when we can maintain our 9 p.m. prayer. Understand the method at least. Follow the method. We will definitely see how much we have evolved. I think that's the end of this talk. So he has covered all the basic points in extraordinary detail and clarity. I think we should go individually, each of us should go through this article again and again so that we will put it into practice.
First close it. Sit in prayer, difficult to sit, then 1 hour is it. Then because I don't want you to say that you have to do it, but it happens. That means
Beautiful.
you do it.
Keshav is making a comment. He was talking about meditation where Sir says, first 1 hour you sit, only in the last 5 minutes your mind will be settled on the thought of divine light. But afterwards, the length of time of your mind staying on the divine light increases. And then he says, at the very first minute, the mind settles on that. Then he says, as you become more skillful in meditation, you'll be very easily able to sit for 1 hour. And then afterwards, you'll be able to sit for longer hours continuously. You sit in meditation, you don't know 1 hour has passed, 1.5 hours has passed. That's what he says. I don't want you to do that, but he says that's what it happens. When your thought gets absorbed in God, time just flows. That's how.
Yes.
So Dr. Keshav is sitting next to me. He has found this very nice to recollect it actually.
I didn't know this actually, but
No.
more than 12 years ago, 2005, I think. Yes, in there as well, talking to him. I said, meditation never, no, it doesn't come as I, it only comes to me. It's automatically happening. Never was listening and listening. But no, it's the case. That's when we are.
Anyway,
Conditions automatically happens.
Keshav is just talking. He says, interesting to observe the idea of I and we during prayer. He says it has happened to him after some 12 years of practice. It spontaneously happened. And then he mentioned this to Sir. And then now Sir has, in this article, he has brought out that point actually. So if you are meditating correctly on the divine light, as Sir has said, your mind gets linked to that, and divinity starts flowing into your mind, and the mind becomes purer and purer, and then gradually you'll move into Brahmanda consciousness. There it's automatically you start thinking of we. You don't start Nama Rupa. You crossed the name and physical form. You don't bother about your physical appearance or dress you wear or whatever it is. Like once I was taking Sir to a doctor and all that, I said, Sir, the chokka edo markapadin sir. Then he immediately scolded me. You are bothering about my dress and all that. You're pulling me down, and he scolded me very severely. I said, we'll change the dress. We are going to the doctor's place. I mean, I wanted to be politically correct before visiting somebody. And he says, he said, you always comment like that. It's wrong, he said.
The meditation, the colors, they come and go. And
that's important.
We even get stuck to it.
It's a beautiful violet color. Is so beautiful.
Okay. You don't even think about it.
And even feelings, he's talking about feelings also. Whatever you get there, you don't need to be attached to it.
But the feelings and the expressions of God.
Ante basically color undante he's telling that you're still clinging to that avarana. You have to transcend it. If it is coming repeatedly, that means you have to report to the trainer. Then he will pull you up to a higher position where the color will not be there. That means the attachment will not. You start enjoying it. And when you start enjoying it, then you're stuck there. It's a pleasant condition. All these Satsvarupa Jnana, devotion, and then surrender and balance, they're all extreme tranquility, blissful. So basically, it's a kind of a sensual pleasure. When the mind is less thoughts are there, you feel light and tranquility. It's an enjoyment. It's a much higher level of enjoyment when compared with sensual enjoyment. So you get attached to them. So what else, Vivek? If nothing is there, we'll meet next Sunday then.